Close your eyes now, and let yourself drift back through the centuries. We're traveling together to a time when life moved at the pace of the sun, when the rhythm of existence flowed like a gentle stream through predictable, ancient patterns. Imagine yourself waking in a small village, 5,000 years ago. The first light of dawn filters through the simple doorway of your home. Your body stirs naturally, without the jarring sound of an alarm, because your circadian rhythm has been perfectly synchronized with the rising sun. This natural awakening allowed the brain to emerge from sleep through its complete cycles, producing cortisol gradually rather than in a stress-induced spike. Your ancestors' brains experienced what modern neuroscience calls optimal sleep architecture, moving through each stage of rest without interruption. You lie there for a moment, on a bed of woven reeds and soft furs, listening. The sounds around you are entirely natural. There's the distant lowing of cattle, the chirping of early morning birds, the rustle of wind through thatched roofing. These organic sounds create what researchers now understand as a calming acoustic environment. Unlike the jarring mechanical noises of modern life, natural sounds have irregular patterns that the brain doesn't need to constantly analyze for threat. The amygdala, your brain's alarm center, remains quiet and calm. As you rise and step outside, your bare feet touch the cool earth. This simple act, which happened countless times each day in ancient villages, is something neuroscientists now call grounding or earthing. The direct contact between skin and soil allows electrons from the earth to flow into the body, reducing inflammation and cortisol levels. Your ancestors didn't know the science, but their bodies knew the peace of this connection. Every step across the village square, every moment tending crops or walking to the well, kept them literally grounded in a way that calmed the nervous system. The air itself is different here. It carries the scent of wood smoke from cooking fires, the earthy smell of morning dew, the sweetness of wild grasses. But more importantly, it carries something invisible. Without industrial pollution, without the electromagnetic frequencies of modern technology, the air contains only the natural elements that human brains evolved alongside for hundreds of thousands of years. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making and stress management, functions more efficiently without the constant low-level stimulation of chemical irritants and electronic interference. You walk toward the village well, and already you've encountered a dozen of your neighbors. In an ancient village, social connections weren't optional or scheduled. They were woven into every task of daily survival. When you drew water, you drew it alongside others. When you ground grain, you ground it while talking with family. This constant, gentle social interaction released oxytocin, the bonding hormone, throughout the day. The human brain evolved in small groups of 50 to 150 people, and ancient village life provided exactly this optimal social circle. You knew everyone, everyone knew you, and this created what psychologists now call social safety, a profound sense of belonging that kept baseline anxiety low. The morning tasks begin. Perhaps you're helping to prepare bread, grinding wheat between two stones. The repetitive motion is meditative. Your hands work in a steady rhythm, back and forth, and your mind begins to drift into a state that modern neuroscience calls task-positive meditation. Unlike the active, planning-oriented default mode network that dominates modern consciousness, this repetitive physical work allows your brain to rest in the present moment. The same neurological state could be achieved through pottery making, weaving, or any of the countless repetitive crafts of ancient life. These tasks required just enough attention to prevent anxious rumination, but not so much that they created stress. As the morning progresses, you work in the fields. The physical labor is constant but varied. You bend to plant seeds, walk to carry water, reach upward to check fruit on trees, squat to pull weeds. This natural, full-body movement pattern is precisely what human bodies evolved to do. Modern research shows that this varied, moderate-intensity movement throughout the day regulates neurotransmitters far more effectively than intense exercise followed by long periods of sitting. Your ancestors' brains received steady, optimal doses of endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine all day long, creating a baseline mood stability that protected against both depression and anxiety. The sun climbs higher, and you feel its warmth on your skin. This daily exposure to natural sunlight did something remarkable for the ancient brain. Sunlight triggers the production of vitamin D, which is actually a hormone that affects countless neural processes. It also suppresses melatonin during the day and primes its production for evening, maintaining perfect sleep-wake cycles. The bright morning light, in particular, which in ancient times everyone experienced within moments of waking, acts as the primary zeitgeber, or time giver, for the brain's master clock. This kept the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the tiny region of the hypothalamus that controls circadian rhythms, precisely calibrated. By midday, the work slows. In the heat of the afternoon, the village rests. This isn't laziness but wisdom born of countless generations. The human body naturally experiences a slight dip in alertness in the early afternoon, what chronobiologists call the post-meridian dip. Ancient villagers honored this by resting, often sleeping briefly in the shade. This biphasic sleep pattern, with a long sleep at night and a short rest during the day, is likely how humans slept for most of our history. The brain benefited from this midday rest, consolidating memories and clearing metabolic waste through the glymphatic system more efficiently than if it had pushed through fatigue. In the afternoon, you might work on crafts inside your dwelling. Perhaps you're weaving cloth on a simple loom, watching the threads interlace in growing patterns. This kind of creative handwork engages what neuroscientists call the brain's reward circuit, but in a gentle, sustainable way. Unlike the intense dopamine spikes of modern entertainment or technology, which can lead to tolerance and dependence, the mild pleasure of creating something useful with your hands provided steady, moderate reward. This kept the nucleus accumbens, the brain's pleasure center, sensitive and responsive, allowing small joys to feel genuinely satisfying. The pace of village life meant that time itself felt different. Without clocks, without schedules broken into hours and minutes, time flowed in natural segments. Morning, midday, afternoon, evening. The rhythms of hunger, the position of the sun, the changing light. This created what psychologists now call time affluence, the feeling of having enough time. When the brain isn't constantly monitoring clock time and worrying about deadlines, The anterior cingulate cortex, which processes temporal awareness and associated stress, remains calm. Hours could be spent on a single task without the anxiety of watching minutes tick away. As evening approaches, you help prepare the evening meal. The food you eat is intimately connected to calm brain function, though ancient peoples couldn't have known the mechanisms. The vegetables from the garden, the grain from the field, the occasional meat from hunting or herding, all these foods had low glycemic impact and high nutrient density. They provided steady glucose to the brain without the spikes and crashes that create irritability and anxiety. The omega-3 fatty acids from fish in riverside villages, the complex carbohydrates from whole grains, the minerals from plants grown in rich soil, all these supported neurotransmitter production and healthy brain structure. Mealtime itself was a ritual of connection. The family gathered, often with neighbors, sitting together as the day's work concluded. This communal eating, which happened in ancient villages multiple times a day, served important psychological functions. It provided clear transitions between activities, giving the brain time to process and shift. It reinforced social bonds through shared experience. And it encouraged mindful eating, as conversation naturally slowed consumption, allowing the gut to signal satiety to the brain before overeating occurred. The vagus nerve, which connects gut and brain, carried signals of contentment and safety during these relaxed, social meals. After eating, as twilight deepens, the village begins to quiet. There might be storytelling around a fire, children playing their last games before sleep, adults finishing final tasks. The light is fading naturally, and with it, your brain begins its evening transition. The dimming light triggers the pineal gland to begin melatonin production. In ancient times, this process was never interrupted by bright artificial light. The gradual, natural darkening allowed melatonin to rise slowly and steadily, creating gentle drowsiness rather than the struggle against artificial light that keeps the modern brain alert past its natural bedtime. The stories told by firelight served deep psychological purposes. They carried the history and wisdom of the community, creating a sense of continuity and meaning. They entertained but also taught, processing the day's events and lifetime's experiences into narrative form. The human brain is a story-making organ, and ancient peoples fed this need every evening. The act of listening to stories in a group, around a fire, with familiar voices sharing familiar tales, activated brain regions associated with empathy, emotional regulation, and social connection. The hippocampus encoded these memories in a social context, strengthening both the memories themselves and the bonds between people. The fire itself had neurological significance. The flickering flames create a phenomenon researchers call entrainment, where brain waves begin to synchronize with the frequency of the light. A fire's flicker typically ranges from 4 to 10 Hz, which corresponds to the theta and alpha brain wave frequencies associated with relaxation and light meditation. Watching flames was one of humanity's first forms of meditation, naturally inducing calm states that prepared the brain for sleep. As full darkness arrives, you retreat to your dwelling. There's no decision to make about bedtime, no negotiation with yourself about one more task or entertainment. When it's dark, you sleep. This simplicity eliminated what modern sleep researchers call sleep onset anxiety, the worry about falling asleep that paradoxically makes sleep more difficult. Your ancestors simply became sleepy as melatonin rose, lay down in their dark homes, and drifted into unconsciousness within minutes. The sleeping environment itself supported deep rest. The darkness was complete except for perhaps the distant glow of a banked fire, providing just enough safety without disrupting melatonin. The temperature was cool, as it naturally becomes at night, which facilitates the drop in core body temperature necessary for deep sleep. The sounds were minimal and natural: wind, distant animal calls, the breathing of family members nearby. These sounds created what's called pink noise, random but dampened, which actually improves sleep quality by masking sudden disturbances. Sleeping in close proximity to family members, as happened in ancient dwellings, might seem less than ideal by modern standards, but it served important functions for the ancient brain. The presence of trusted others nearby activated the ventral vagal system, the part of the nervous system responsible for social connection and feelings of safety. Infants and children especially benefited from this proximity, developing secure attachment and regulated nervous systems through constant connection with caregivers. Even adults slept more peacefully knowing their family was within arm's reach, a vestige of our evolutionary past when predators made isolated sleeping dangerous. The ancient brain moved through sleep cycles without interruption. Each night included multiple periods of deep slow-wave sleep, when the brain cleared metabolic waste through the glymphatic system, consolidated learning into long-term memory, and repaired cellular damage. REM sleep occurred in longer, more complete cycles, allowing the brain to process emotions and experiences thoroughly. Without alarm clocks, people woke naturally at the end of a sleep cycle, emerging refreshed rather than jolted awake mid-cycle, which is what creates morning grogginess. Consider the freedom from certain anxieties that simply didn't exist in ancient village life. There was no information overload, no news from distant lands carrying stories of disaster and fear. The ancient brain processed only what it could directly see, hear, and experience within the small radius of the village and surrounding areas. This meant the amygdala responded only to real, immediate threats rather than the abstract, distant dangers that modern media presents constantly. The ancient villagers' stress response activated when facing a wild animal or a dangerous storm, then deactivated when the threat passed. It didn't remain chronically elevated by awareness of problems they could neither see nor solve. Financial anxiety, which drives so much modern stress, was largely absent in subsistence communities. You owned what you made or grew, you traded with neighbors, and your security came from your relationships and skills rather than abstract numbers in distant accounts. The brain's reward and stress systems weren't activated by market fluctuations or bank balances. Instead, anxiety focused on tangible, addressable concerns like weather, crops, and immediate relationships, all things that could be influenced through direct action. The concept of identity was simpler in ancient villages. You were a member of your family, your village, your tribe. Your role was clear from childhood. You would learn the skills of your parents, contribute to the community's survival, raise your own family. While this limited choice, It eliminated the anxiety of infinite possibility that characterizes modern life. The prefrontal cortex wasn't constantly evaluating alternative life paths and questioning chosen ones. There was a sense of rightness and belonging in following the patterns of previous generations. Seasonal rhythms added another layer of natural timing to village life. In agricultural communities, the year divided clearly into planting, growing, harvesting, and resting seasons. This created natural variation in activity levels and corresponding variation in brain chemistry. The intense activity of harvest time, followed by the quieter winter months, allowed for cycles of exertion and recovery that kept the stress response system flexible and healthy. Modern constant activity, without seasonal variation, can lead to chronic stress and eventually to burnout, as the adrenal system never fully recovers. The spiritual and ritual life of ancient villages served important neurological functions that modern people are only beginning to understand. Regular communal ceremonies created synchronization between community members, building social cohesion through shared experience. The rhythmic chanting, dancing, or drumming common to many ancient rituals induced altered states of consciousness that allowed for emotional release and neural integration. Whether interpreted as spiritual experience or neurological phenomenon, these practices helped ancient brains process difficult emotions and maintain mental health. Connection to nature went beyond simply being outdoors more often. Ancient villagers understood their complete dependence on natural cycles, sun and rain for crops, seasonal migrations of game, the phases of the moon affecting tides and animals. This understanding created what psychologists call an external locus of control balanced with agency. They knew they couldn't control nature but could work skillfully within its patterns. This prevented the exhaustion of trying to control everything while avoiding the helplessness of controlling nothing. The brain maintained healthy stress resilience through this balanced perspective. The multi-generational nature of village life meant that elders remained integrated into daily activities, contributing wisdom and child care while younger adults did more physical labor. This distribution of responsibility meant that no generation was overwhelmed or idle. From a neurological perspective, it meant that caregiving duties were shared, preventing the burnout that can come from isolated nuclear families. Children benefited from multiple attachment figures, creating resilient social bonds. Elders maintained cognitive function through remaining socially and intellectually engaged rather than being separated from community life. Ancient villages operated on principles of mutual aid that kept the social safety net strong. When one family's harvest failed, neighbors shared. When someone fell ill, others took on their tasks. This reciprocal altruism activated the brain's caregiving systems, releasing oxytocin and creating positive feelings around helping behavior. But it also meant that worry about future catastrophe was tempered by knowledge of community support. The brain's threat detection system remained calibrated to realistic levels of danger rather than catastrophizing worst-case scenarios of complete abandonment. The handmade nature of every object in ancient village life meant a different relationship to possessions. Everything was created through hours of skilled labor, either your own or someone else's. A clay pot represented not just utility but the potter's skill, the clay from a known source, the wood gathered for firing. This imbued objects with meaning and story, creating what modern psychology calls meaningful materialism as opposed to the hollow accumulation that can characterize modern consumer culture. The brain's reward systems responded to quality and meaning rather than quantity, leading to deeper satisfaction from fewer possessions. Communication in ancient villages was slow and deliberate. Information traveled at the speed of walking or at best, riding. Messages were carefully considered before being sent, as there was no quick back and forth. This meant that the prefrontal cortex engaged in deeper processing before speaking or acting. The modern phenomenon of constant connectivity and instant response creates a state of perpetual partial attention that fragments focus and creates stress. Ancient communication allowed for reflection, for messages to be received and considered fully before response, creating richer, more meaningful exchanges. The absence of artificial light after sunset meant that evenings were truly restful. Modern research shows that blue light from screens suppresses melatonin production and shifts circadian rhythms later, creating a mismatch between biological time and social time. Ancient peoples experienced no such disruption. When darkness fell, the brain naturally prepared for sleep. The evening hours by firelight were calm and social but not stimulating in ways that would prevent sleep. This meant that sleep onset was easy and natural, and sleep duration was naturally long, typically 8 to 10 hours per night. Childhood in ancient villages unfolded at a pace that supported healthy brain development. Children learned through play and observation, watching adults work and gradually taking on tasks as they grew capable. There was no pressure to reach arbitrary milestones by specific ages. The developing brain had time to consolidate each new skill before moving to the next. Play was unstructured and often outdoors, allowing for the kind of creative, risky exploration that builds executive function and emotional regulation. The prefrontal cortex developed in the context of real-world problem-solving rather than abstract academic tasks, creating practical wisdom alongside cognitive skills. The sounds of village life created an acoustic environment that was rich but not overwhelming. The brain could attend to specific sounds, like a baby's cry or a call for help, because there wasn't constant background noise masking everything. This allowed for what researchers call selective attention to function naturally. The auditory cortex didn't have to work constantly to filter relevant from irrelevant sounds. Conversation could happen at normal volumes, laughter could ring out clearly, and the subtle sounds of nature provided a calming backdrop rather than being drowned out by machinery. Ancient villages had natural boundaries, both physical and social. You knew where your village ended and wilderness began. You knew who belonged to your community and who was a stranger. While this could create insularity, it also provided clear identity and belonging. The brain's in-group/out-group processing, which is automatic and ancient, functioned clearly rather than being confused by the massive, anonymous societies of modern life. This clarity reduced a certain kind of social anxiety and allowed trust to develop deeply within the known community. The predictability of village life, while potentially monotonous by modern standards, provided profound psychological security. You knew what each day would likely hold, what each season would bring. The hippocampus, which creates cognitive maps not just of space but of experiences, could build reliable models of life that allowed for accurate prediction. This predictability kept the brain's uncertainty circuits calm. While modern life offers more variety, it also creates chronic uncertainty about employment, relationships, location, and future, which keeps stress systems perpetually activated. Work in ancient villages was hard but meaningful. Every task connected directly to survival and community well-being. You could see the results of your labor, the field you planted yielding food, the pot you made holding water, the cloth you wove becoming clothing. This created what psychologists call eudaimonic well-being, a sense of meaning and purpose that's distinct from mere pleasure. The brain's reward circuits responded strongly to this kind of meaningful accomplishment, creating deep satisfaction that sustained motivation and mental health. The integration of work and life meant there was no commute, no sharp division between professional and personal identity. You worked near your home, often with family members, moving fluidly between tasks of production and tasks of relationship. This eliminated the cognitive load of maintaining separate personas and the stress of daily transitions between different environments and roles. The brain existed in a more unified state, without the compartmentalization that modern life often requires. Ancient villages were quiet in ways that modern people rarely experience. Without engines, electronics, or industrial processes, the baseline sound level was often just above silence. The nervous system could truly rest in this quietness. Modern research shows that noise pollution activates stress responses even during sleep, disrupting rest and elevating blood pressure. Ancient sleep occurred in profound quietness, interrupted only by natural sounds that the brain had evolved to filter as non-threatening. The absence of screens and artificial entertainment meant that the ancient brain had time for what neuroscientists call wakeful rest or idle time. These are periods when you're not actively engaged in a task or stimulation, allowing the default mode network to activate. This is when the brain consolidates memories, processes experiences, and makes creative connections. Modern people often fill every moment with stimulation, preventing this crucial neural processing. Ancient villagers naturally experienced hours of idle time during long walks, repetitive tasks, or quiet evenings, supporting optimal brain function. Death and birth were integrated into daily village life in ways that made them familiar rather than frightening. You likely witnessed both multiple times throughout your life, understood them as natural transitions, and had rituals and community support for processing these experiences. The brain's anxiety about mortality was tempered by familiarity and spiritual frameworks that provided meaning. Grief was shared communally rather than processed in isolation, allowing the social engagement system to help regulate the intense emotions of loss. The ancient village existed in a state of what could be called sustainable cognition. The brain's demands were met but not exceeded. There was enough novelty for interest but enough routine for security. Social connection was abundant but not overwhelming. Physical activity was constant but not extreme. Stress occurred but resolved. Sleep was natural and sufficient. The brain evolved in exactly these conditions, and when life provided them, it functioned optimally, calmly, and contentedly. As you imagine drifting off to sleep in that ancient village, feeling the cool night air, hearing the quiet breathing of your family, knowing that tomorrow will bring another day of simple, connected, meaningful life, you might understand why the modern brain finds peace in remembering these ancient patterns. Perhaps these memories are not just individual but cellular, echoes of the countless generations who lived this way, encoded somehow in the very structure of who we are. Let yourself sink deeper into that ancient night. The darkness is complete and safe. The sounds are gentle and natural. Your body is pleasantly tired from useful work. Your mind is quiet, free from the racing thoughts and worries that don't belong to this time. Here, in this imagined village, 5,000 years ago, there is only this moment, this breath, this soft descent into deep and peaceful sleep. The ancient rhythms pulse through you still, though millennia have passed. Your brain remembers this peace, this simplicity, this belonging. And as you rest now, in your modern life, you carry forward this ancient wisdom. That true calm comes from connection, from natural rhythms, from meaningful work and deep rest, from the earth beneath your feet and the sky above your head, from knowing your place in the circle of human life. Sleep now, as your ancestors slept, under the same stars, breathing the same patterns, returning in dreams to the village where time moves slowly, where life is simple, where the brain finds its natural rest in the rhythms that shaped human consciousness across 10,000 generations. Rest in this ancient peace. Rest in this timeless calm. Rest, now, and sleep. And as you rest in that ancient sleep, let us journey deeper still into the patterns of village life, exploring more of the wisdom that kept the ancient brain calm and balanced through all the seasons of existence. Morning comes again in the village, but let us observe it differently now. Notice how the light enters your dwelling gradually, shifting from deep black to dark blue to soft gray before the sun itself appears. This extended twilight period, lasting 30 to 40 minutes before sunrise, allowed the ancient brain to transition through sleep stages naturally. The suprachiasmatic nucleus received gradually increasing light signals, coordinating the awakening of every system in the body in harmony. Modern artificial lighting eliminates this transition, forcing the brain to wake in an instant, creating what researchers call sleep inertia that can last for hours. As you rise, notice the temperature. The dwelling cooled significantly during the night, and the morning air is crisp. This temperature variation, which modern climate control eliminates, actually supported metabolic health and stress resilience. The mild cold stress of morning activated brown adipose tissue, which generates heat and regulates metabolism. It also triggered the release of norepinephrine in optimal amounts, creating alertness without anxiety. The ancient body experienced temperature as a rhythmic variation rather than a constant, and this rhythm reinforced circadian patterns that kept the brain synchronized with the natural world. Today, let us follow the work of pottery making. You gather clay from the riverbank, feeling its cool, wet texture in your hands. This direct contact with earth elements provided what modern research calls sensory grounding. The tactile sensual experience of natural materials, clay, wood, stone, fiber, engaged the somatosensory cortex in ways that created present moment awareness. Unlike the smooth, uniform textures of manufactured materials, natural substances had infinite variation that kept the brain gently engaged in sensory processing rather than mental rumination. As you work the clay, pushing and pulling it into shape, you enter a state of flow. The challenge is perfectly matched to your skill, neither boring nor overwhelming. The flow state, first described by psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, is associated with decreased activity in the prefrontal cortex, a phenomenon called transient hypofrontality. The inner critic quiets, self-consciousness fades, and time seems to disappear. Ancient craftspeople entered this state regularly through their work, experiencing hours of this optimal consciousness that modern people often struggle to access. The brain's reward centers activated steadily during flow, without the peaks and crashes of more intense stimulation. Around mid-morning, a child in the village falls and scrapes their knee. You watch as the mother comforts the crying child, holding them close, speaking softly. This scene, repeated countless times daily in ancient villages, demonstrates something crucial about emotional regulation. The child's distress activated their sympathetic nervous system, the fight-or-flight response. The mother's calm presence and soothing touch activated the child's parasympathetic system, specifically the ventral vagal pathway that governs social engagement and calming. Through thousands of such interactions, children's nervous systems learn to regulate, developing what's called distress tolerance. The ancient brain, shaped by reliable co-regulation from infancy onward, maintained this capacity for self-soothing throughout life. Notice the absence of rushing in the village. No one runs unless there's danger. Movement is purposeful but unhurried. This constant state of measured pace kept the nervous system in what polyvagal theory calls the ventral vagal state, associated with safety and social connection. Rushing activates sympathetic arousal, which over time can become a chronic state in modern life. The ancient villagers' baseline was calm alertness rather than low-level stress, and this baseline protected against anxiety disorders and burnout. The village well serves as a natural gathering place, and today you notice the patterns of conversation that occur there. People share news, offer advice, discuss problems, celebrate successes. This informal social exchange provided what psychologists now call social support buffering. When the brain perceives strong social support, the stress response to challenges is significantly reduced. The mere knowledge that help is available, even if not currently needed, keeps cortisol levels lower. Ancient villagers experienced this buffering constantly through casual, frequent contact with their community network. An elder in the village is teaching several young people about medicinal plants. You watch as she points to different herbs growing near the forest edge, explaining their uses. This intergenerational knowledge transfer served multiple neurological purposes. For the elder, teaching activated activated brain regions associated with meaning and purpose, supporting cognitive health into old age. For the learners, the information came embedded in relationship and story, which the hippocampus encodes more deeply than abstract facts. The learning was hands-on and multisensory, seeing the plants, touching them, smelling them, hearing their stories, creating multiple neural pathways for memory storage. As afternoon arrives, you help prepare leather for clothing. The process involves scraping, stretching, and treating the hide with natural substances. The work requires sustained attention but allows the mind to wander simultaneously. This combination of soft fascination, where attention is engaged gently without effort, is the same quality that makes nature exposure restorative. The repetitive physical motion satisfied the brain's need for productivity while the mind processed emotions, consolidated memories, and engaged in what researchers call constructive internal reflection. Modern multitasking, by contrast, fragments attention without allowing true mental processing. The village exists in a state of what could be called appropriate uncertainty. You don't know exactly what tomorrow will bring, weather might change, an animal might appear, a child might be born, but the range of possibilities is comprehensible. The brain's prediction error system, which constantly compares expectations with reality, functions smoothly because predictions were generally accurate within a known range. Modern life presents radical uncertainty, where jobs, relationships, homes, even identities can shift unpredictably in ways that ancient peoples never experienced. This chronic unpredictability keeps the brain's error detection systems overactive, creating background anxiety. Today, a traveling trader arrives in the village, bringing goods from distant regions and news from other communities. This rare event creates excitement and novelty. The brain's dopamine system responds strongly to novelty, but in ancient life, novelty arrived in appropriate doses. Too little novelty creates boredom and depression. Too much creates overwhelm and anxiety. The ancient balance, long periods of familiar routine punctuated by occasional new experiences, kept dopamine sensitivity optimal. The nucleus accumbens remained responsive to small pleasures because it wasn't constantly bombarded with intense stimulation. Evening approaches, and you notice how the fading light changes the mood of the village. Activities naturally slow as visibility decreases. Before artificial light, darkness genuinely limited human activity, creating enforced rest periods. This wasn't oppressive but liberating in a sense. The brain didn't have to decide when to stop working or choose rest over productivity. Darkness made the decision, eliminating what modern psychology calls decision fatigue. Every choice, even small ones, depletes mental resources. Ancient peoples made far fewer daily decisions because many choices were made by natural constraints. Tonight, the village gathers for a celebration. There's been a successful hunt, and the community will share the meat. Music begins, simple drums and flutes creating rhythmic patterns. Dancing starts, bodies moving in synchronized patterns around the fire. This communal rhythmic activity did something remarkable for the ancient brain. When people move together to rhythm, their neural activity begins to synchronize, a phenomenon called neural entrainment. This synchronization strengthened social bonds at a neurological level and created feelings of unity and belonging that transcended individual identity. The collective effervescence, as sociologist Emil Durkheim called it, generated positive emotions that could last for days. The dancing itself provided intense physical activity, but in a social, joyful context rather than as exercise. The brain's reward centers activated strongly during pleasurable movement, associating physical exertion with positive emotion. Modern exercise often feels like punishment or obligation, activating different neural pathways than ancient movement, which was integrated into celebration, play, and necessary work. This difference in context changed how the brain perceived and benefited from physical activity. As the celebration winds down and you return to your dwelling, notice the quality of fatigue. Your body is tired from dancing, your mind pleasantly worn from social interaction, your spirit full from communal joy. This is good tired, the kind that leads to deep, restorative sleep. The brain has been challenged appropriately across physical, social, emotional, and cognitive domains, and now craves rest to consolidate and integrate these experiences. Modern tiredness often comes from mental strain without physical exertion, or physical strain without meaning, creating a restless exhaustion that doesn't lead to good sleep. In the deep night, a baby cries in a nearby dwelling. The sound wakes you briefly, but you hear the mother responding immediately, soothing the infant back to sleep within moments. This quick response, typical in ancient villages where babies slept within arm's reach of mothers, had profound effects on infant brain development. When distress is answered rapidly and consistently, the infant's brain learns that the world is responsive and safe. The amygdala remains properly calibrated, the attachment system develops securely, and the foundation for lifelong emotional regulation is established. These securely attached children became adults with resilient stress response systems. You drift back to sleep, and let us observe your sleeping brain more closely. Throughout the night, you cycle through stages of sleep roughly every 90 minutes. In deep slow-wave sleep, your brain waves synchronize in long, slow rhythms. During these periods, cerebrospinal fluid pulses through the brain in waves, washing away metabolic waste products including beta-amyloid proteins. This glymphatic clearance happens primarily during deep sleep and is crucial for brain health. Ancient peoples, sleeping in complete darkness for 9 to 10 hours nightly, experienced much more deep sleep than modern people typically achieve, providing superior neural cleaning and maintenance. During REM sleep, your eyes move rapidly beneath closed lids as you dream. The ancient brain dreamed differently than modern minds. Your dreams contain people you know, places you've been, activities you've done. There's no abstraction, no impossible scenarios from screens or stories you've never personally experienced. The dreaming brain processed real experiences, integrating emotions, consolidating skills, and working through social dynamics. This made REM sleep more efficient at its primary function of emotional regulation and memory consolidation. Modern dreams, filled with media-derived content, may process less personally relevant material, potentially making dream sleep less restorative. Morning comes again, and with it, another day's rhythm. Today let us observe water gathering more closely. You walk to the stream with clay vessels, following a path worn smooth by countless feet before yours. This daily journey to water created what environmental psychologists call a place attachment. The path, the stream, the particular rocks and trees along the way became familiar friends. The brain's place cells and grid cells, which create cognitive maps of space, encoded this route deeply. Modern people often travel through space without creating such attachments, moving through generic environments that the brain doesn't bond with. This lack of place attachment may contribute to feelings of rootlessness and anxiety. At the stream, you kneel at the same spot you've used hundreds of times. The rock is worn smooth, the bank shaped by your presence and others. This personal mark on the environment, evidence of your ongoing existence and contribution, provided a subtle but important form of meaning. Humans need to feel that their presence matters, that they leave some trace, however small. Ancient villagers saw their impact everywhere: paths they'd walked, fields they'd shaped, buildings they'd erected. This visible legacy supported a sense of mattering that protected against existential anxiety. The water you gather is cold and clear. You can see the bottom of the stream, know exactly where this water comes from, trust its purity. This direct knowledge of resources provided cognitive ease. The brain didn't need to maintain vigilant suspicion about potential contamination or deception. Modern life requires constant low-level vigilance about the safety and authenticity of nearly everything we consume, creating cognitive load that ancient peoples didn't experience. The trusted transparency of village life kept the default mode network quieter. Back in the village, you notice a young couple working together to repair their dwelling. They move in coordination, one holding while the other ties, communicating with few words because they understand each other's rhythm. This kind of cooperative work was the foundation of pair bonding in ancient communities. Modern research shows that couples who work towards shared concrete goals have stronger relationships than those who only spend leisure time together. The ancient brain bonded through collaboration on survival tasks, creating partnerships rooted in teamwork and mutual dependence rather than just emotional connection. The morning brings a moment of conflict. Two neighbors disagree about the boundary between their garden plots. Rather than escalating, they bring the dispute to a respected elder who listens to both sides and suggests a compromise. Both neighbors accept the judgment and return to friendly relations within hours. This rapid, face-to-face conflict resolution prevented the rumination and grudge-holding that can poison modern relationships. When you must continue living and working alongside someone, you're motivated to resolve disagreements quickly. The brain's default toward reconciliation, rather than avoidance or escalation, maintains social harmony and individual peace. By midday, the sun is intense, and you seek shade under a large tree at the village edge. Several others have gathered here as well, and you sit in companionable silence, occasionally commenting on clouds or birds but mostly just resting together. This capacity for comfortable silence with others reflects secure social bonds. The brain doesn't need constant verbal interaction to feel connected. The mere presence of trusted others activates the social engagement system. Modern people often report difficulty with silence, filling every moment with words or devices, potentially because bonds aren't deep enough to feel secure without constant reinforcement. Under the tree, your attention drifts upward into the canopy. Leaves rustle and shift, creating patterns of light and shadow. Birds move through branches, insects fly in the dappled light. Watching this complex, natural movement provides what attention researchers call involuntary attention or soft fascination. Unlike the hard fascination of screens, which captures attention through intensity and rapid change, soft fascination allows the attention system to rest while remaining gently engaged. This restores the directed attention system, which becomes depleted through constant focused effort. Ancient peoples experienced hours of soft fascination daily, maintaining fresh, flexible attention. The afternoon brings basket weaving. You sit with several others, working in parallel, sometimes helping each other, sometimes working silently. The materials are willow branches soaked until flexible, and your hands learn the over-under pattern that creates a strong vessel. This kind of skilled handwork engaged what neuroscientists call the haptic system, the neural network for active touch and manipulation. The hands have massive representation in the brain's motor and sensory cortices, and complex handwork activates these regions extensively. Ancient peoples maintained rich haptic engagement throughout life, potentially supporting cognitive health through continuous use of these neural networks. As the basket takes shape, you feel satisfaction in creating something useful with your own hands. This satisfaction activated the brain's reward system, but in a different way than consuming or acquiring something made by others. Creating generates what psychologists call affectance pleasure, the joy of being competent and effective in the world. This self-generated reward was sustainable and deeply satisfying, unlike the hedonic treadmill of consumption, where each pleasure requires a greater intensity to satisfy. Ancient peoples experienced affectance pleasure daily through countless acts of creation and problem-solving. Evening approaches, and you help prepare the meal again. Tonight there's variety in the food, some stored grain, some freshly gathered greens, some preserved meat, some new herbs. This dietary diversity, consuming dozens of different plant species across a season, supported gut microbiome health in ways that modern restricted diets often don't. The gut microbiome, the community of bacteria in the digestive system, profoundly influences brain function through the gut-brain axis. A diverse, healthy microbiome produces neurotransmitters and sends signals via the vagus nerve that support mood stability and stress resilience. During the meal, stories are shared again. Tonight, someone tells of their childhood, remembering their grandmother and the wisdom she imparted. Reminiscence and life review serve important psychological functions, integrating past experience into present identity, finding meaning in the arc of a life, and passing wisdom to the next generation. Ancient societies honored elders partly because they performed this crucial function of memory keeping and meaning making. The brain's autobiographical memory system remained active and valued throughout life, supporting cognitive health and sense of purpose into old age. After eating, children play in the last light of day. Their games involve running, hiding, seeking, building small structures with sticks and stones, pretending to be animals or adults. This unstructured play was essential for brain development, allowing children to practice social negotiation, risk assessment, emotional regulation, and creative problem solving. The prefrontal cortex developed through actual experience of these challenges rather than through adult-directed activities. Modern structured play and early academic pressure may actually delay prefrontal development by not allowing sufficient genuine decision-making practice. As darkness falls fully, someone mentions seeing a fox near the chicken enclosure. This minor potential threat will require attention tomorrow, setting a guard or reinforcing barriers. The brain's problem-solving systems engage briefly, considering solutions, then settle as a plan forms. This pattern of identifying challenges, creating solutions, and implementing them characterized ancient life. Problems were concrete and solvable, creating a sense of agency and competence. Modern problems often feel abstract, distant, and unsolvable, activating stress systems without the satisfaction of resolution. You prepare for sleep once more, but tonight let us notice the ritual of bedtime more closely. You bank the fire, ensuring coals will remain for easy rekindling in the morning. This practical task also served psychological functions. The series of evening tasks created a behavioral routine that signaled to the brain that sleep time approached. Modern sleep research emphasizes the importance of bedtime routines for good sleep, and ancient peoples naturally maintained such routines through necessary tasks. The procedural memory system encoded these sequences deeply, allowing the body to begin relaxing automatically as each familiar step unfolded. Before lying down, you step outside briefly, looking up at the night sky. Without light pollution, the stars are overwhelming in their brightness and number. The Milky Way stretches clearly across the heavens, planets shine steadily, constellations tell their ancient stories. This regular viewing of the night sky provided perspective on human smallness within vast cosmos, what modern psychology might call a self-transcendent experience. Such experiences, where the self feels part of something larger, are associated with increased well-being, reduced stress, and greater life satisfaction. Ancient peoples experienced self-transcendence regularly through immersion in nature's grandeur. You return inside and lie down on your sleeping platform. The bedding has been aired during the day and smells of sun and wind. Pleasant scents trigger positive associations in the brain, and natural smells particularly activated the olfactory limbic pathway in ways that supported relaxation. Modern synthetic fragrances can actually trigger stress responses in some people, whereas natural scents generally produced calming effects. The ancient nose brought constant information about the natural world, keeping the brain connected to place and season. As sleep approaches, you hear the quiet sounds of your family settling. Someone sighs contentedly, another shifts position, a child murmurs in early dreaming. These sounds of nearby loved ones activated what attachment researchers call the haven of safety neural networks. The brain, perceiving itself as protected within the social group, released tension and allowed vulnerability. The deep relaxation necessary for restorative sleep came more easily when the social engagement system signaled complete safety. Your thoughts drift without direction, not planning tomorrow or reviewing today, just flowing freely. This state, between waking and sleeping, is called hypnagogia, and it's associated with creative insights and problem solving. The ancient brain experienced this state nightly without interference, allowing for the spontaneous neural connections that characterize creativity. Modern people often bring stimulation right up to sleep time, skipping this valuable transitional state, or fill it with worry rather than allowing free mental drift. Sleep takes you gently, and through the night, your body performs its restorative work. Growth hormone releases during deep sleep, repairing tissues damaged during the day's activity. Cortisol drops to its lowest levels, allowing the immune system to perform maintenance. The brain consolidates the day's learning, strengthening neural connections for skills practiced and information acquired. The cardiovascular system experiences reduced demand, allowing heart and blood vessels to recover. Ancient peoples provided their bodies sufficient time and proper conditions for this restoration nightly, creating robust health and resilience. In deep night, you wake briefly to tend to the fire or step outside for a moment. This wasn't insomnia but natural biphasic sleep, a pattern that may be inherent to human biology. Historical records suggest that before artificial light, many people experienced a first sleep and second sleep with a period of quiet wakefulness between. During this wakeful period, people might reflect, pray, talk quietly with partners, or simply rest peacefully. The brain didn't interpret this waking as a problem but as normal variation. Modern expectations of 8 continuous hours may actually create anxiety about normal sleep patterns, ironically making sleep worse. The second sleep comes easily, and you drift deeper into rest. Your immune system is particularly active now, fighting off pathogens encountered during the day, creating antibodies, clearing damaged cells. Ancient peoples, sleeping long hours in optimal conditions, gave their immune systems maximum opportunity for this work. Combined with the stress-reducing lifestyle, moderate physical activity, and nutrient-dense food, this created robust immunity that protected health throughout the lifespan. Morning comes once more, and with it, another opportunity to observe ancient wisdom. Today is different. Rain falls gently on the thatched roof, and the day's plans must adapt. Rather than frustration, there's acceptance and even pleasure in the change. Rain means crops will grow, water stores will replenish, the earth will be refreshed. The brain's flexibility in adapting to circumstances, what psychologists call psychological flexibility, was constantly practiced in ancient life. You couldn't control weather or many other circumstances, so mental health depended on accepting and adapting rather than resisting reality. This flexibility protected against the suffering that comes from demanding that reality be different than it is. The rain day brings indoor work, tool repair, craft finishing, storytelling, resting. The varied pace of ancient life, active days and quiet days, intense seasons and restful seasons, created resilience through variation. Modern constant activity and productivity pressure create brittle stress systems that can break under sustained load. Ancient rhythms of exertion and recovery, built into the structure of life itself, maintained robust stress resilience. Let yourself sink deeper now into this ancient peace. Feel the rain on the roof, hear its steady rhythm, smell the wet earth. Know that today will be different from yesterday, and tomorrow different again, but all within the safe, known patterns of village life. The brain finds profound rest in this combination of variation within stability, novelty within familiarity, challenge within security. Rest here, in this ancient village, in this ancient wisdom, in these rhythms that shaped human consciousness across millennia. Your brain remembers this peace, encoded in structures older than language, older than agriculture, older than fire. It remembers, and in remembering, finds its way back to calm. Sleep now, deeply and well, held in the ancient patterns that promise, you belong, you matter, you are safe, you can rest. Sleep, as your ancestors slept, trusting the night, trusting the community, trusting the rhythms that will bring morning once more. Let the rain drum you deeper into rest. Let the ancient village fade into dream. Let sleep take you fully now, into the deep, restorative darkness where the brain heals and the spirit renews, where nothing is required but rest, where you are held in the timeless embrace of human life, lived simply, lived connected, lived in harmony with the rhythms that made us human. Rest now. Rest completely. Rest in ancient peace. Sleep. And so we journey even deeper into the ancient village, discovering layers of wisdom that shaped human consciousness in ways both subtle and profound. Let us wake once more in that timeless place where the brain found its natural rhythm. The morning air carries the scent of wet earth from yesterday's rain. This smell, called petrichor, comes from compounds released when rain hits dry soil. Ancient peoples experienced this scent regularly, and the brain formed deep associations between this smell and the life-giving nature of water. The olfactory bulb, which processes smell, connects directly to the amygdala and hippocampus, creating emotional and memory responses without conscious processing. Natural scents like petrichor triggered automatic feelings of contentment and safety because they signaled favorable conditions for survival. The ancient nose was constantly reading the environment, providing the brain with wordless information that all was well. This morning, you join others in checking the garden after the rain. The plants have grown visibly overnight, responding to the water with renewed vigor. Observing this growth, witnessing the direct results of sun and rain and care, created what psychologists call growth mindset at a profound level. You saw evidence daily that conditions change, that nurturing brings results, that patience is rewarded with tangible outcomes. This shaped neural pathways toward optimism and agency. The brain learned through direct observation that effort matters and that natural processes support life. Modern people often lack this tangible evidence of growth and change, making it harder to maintain hope during difficult periods. As you tend the plants, your hands move through soil, pulling weeds and adjusting supports. Gardening, this direct relationship with growing things, affected the brain through multiple pathways. The soil itself contains bacteria, particularly Mycobacterium vaccae, which when inhaled or touched, triggers serotonin release in the brain. This natural antidepressant effect came as a free benefit of working with Earth. Additionally, the combination of light physical activity, time outdoors, purposeful work, and connection to life cycles created a powerful cocktail of mental health benefits. Ancient peoples who worked with soil daily maintained this natural mood support throughout their lives. Mid-morning brings the sound of children laughing as they play near the stream. They're building a dam with rocks and mud, working together to redirect water flow. This creative, constructive play required cooperation, planning, problem-solving, and physical skill. The developing brain engaged in what neuroscientists call embodied cognition, where abstract concepts are learned through physical manipulation of the environment. Understanding flow, resistance, structure, and persistence came through hands-on experience rather than verbal instruction. The hippocampus and motor cortex worked together to encode these lessons deeply, creating understanding that verbal teaching alone could never achieve. You notice an elder watching the children with a gentle smile. She doesn't intervene or instruct, just observes their trial and error with patience. This allowing of exploration, with safety maintained but freedom granted, characterized ancient childhood. The prefrontal cortex develops through making choices and experiencing consequences. Overprotection or constant direction prevents this development, while abandonment creates trauma. Ancient village life provided the middle path. Children could take risks and make mistakes within a safe, supportive environment where adults were present but not controlling. This developed robust executive function and healthy risk assessment. Today's work involves preparing food for preservation. You're cutting vegetables into thin strips for drying in the sun. This task requires attention but not intense concentration, leaving the mind free to wander. During such tasks, the default mode network activates, and the brain engages in what researchers call spontaneous cognition. This is where creative insights arise, where memories are integrated, where plans form naturally without forced deliberation. Ancient peoples spent hours in activities that allowed spontaneous cognition, supporting creativity and problem-solving. Modern constant stimulation and task switching prevents activation of the default mode network, potentially reducing creativity and self-reflection. As vegetables dry on racks in the sun, you observe the process of transformation. Fresh food becomes preserved food, extending summer's abundance into winter's scarcity. This cycle of abundance and scarcity created what economists call natural scarcity mindset, but in a healthy form. You appreciated abundance because you knew scarcity. You preserved carefully because you understood future need. You celebrated harvest because you remembered hunger. The brain's reward system remained sensitive because pleasure wasn't constant. Gratitude arose naturally from genuine contrast between having and not having. Modern abundance, paradoxically, can reduce appreciation and happiness because there's no contrast to highlight value. Midday arrives, and you rest in shade again. Today, a younger person asks you to share stories of your childhood. As you recount memories, you notice the pleasure of being asked, of having your experience valued, of connecting with a younger generation through shared narrative. This intergenerational exchange served crucial functions for both parties. For the elder, it reinforced life meaning and created legacy. For the younger person, it provided wisdom and perspective. The brain's narrative networks engaged fully, organizing experience into meaningful story, finding patterns and lessons in the lived texture of a life. Ancient peoples maintained strong sense of purpose through elderhood because their knowledge and experience remained valued and utilized. The afternoon brings collaborative work on a community project. The village is building a new storage structure, and many hands make the work light. You lift and carry, hold and steady, following the directions of the experienced builder who guides the project. This submission to expertise, working within a hierarchy of skill, created social harmony and efficient accomplishment. The brain didn't rebel against following leadership when leadership was based on genuine competence and when everyone contributed according to ability. Modern egalitarian ideals sometimes create confusion about authority, whereas ancient villages had clear skill-based hierarchies that reduced social friction while maintaining essential human dignity. As you work alongside others, conversation flows naturally. Someone jokes, others laugh. A problem arises, several people suggest solutions, one is chosen and implemented. This fluid, democratic problem-solving within collaborative work engaged the brain's social cognition networks optimally. The medial prefrontal cortex, which processes social information, the temporal parietal junction, which handles perspective-taking, and the superior temporal sulcus, which interprets social cues, all work together constantly in ancient village life. These networks strengthen through continuous use, creating sophisticated social intelligence that help navigate complex community dynamics. Evening comes, and tonight's meal includes food you personally gathered, prepared, and preserved. This complete ownership of the food chain, from source to consumption, created deep satisfaction and sense of competence. You knew exactly where this food came from, how it was produced, what went into its preparation. This transparency eliminated cognitive load around trust and safety. The brain didn't need to maintain background vigilance about contamination or deception. Additionally, the investment of your own labor made the food more rewarding to eat. Research shows that effort increases perceived value, the so-called IKEA effect. Ancient peoples experienced this enhanced satisfaction with nearly everything they consumed because nearly everything required personal effort. After eating, someone begins singing. Others join in, harmonizing naturally without formal instruction. Group singing, ubiquitous in ancient cultures, had remarkable neurological effects. It synchronized breathing across participants, which synchronized heart rate variability, which created physiological coherence within the group. The vagus nerve, which regulates the parasympathetic nervous system, responded to this coherence by promoting calm and connection. Additionally, singing released endorphins and oxytocin, creating feelings of euphoria and bonding. Ancient peoples sang together regularly during work, celebration, ritual, and grief, maintaining these neurochemical benefits continuously. Tonight, conversation turns to the upcoming seasonal change. In a few weeks, The weather will shift, certain crops will be ready for harvest, preparations must be made. This anticipation of predictable change gave life structure and rhythm at a scale larger than daily routines. The brain's temporal processing systems tracked these longer cycles, creating a sense of time as circular rather than linear, as seasons returning rather than time passing irretrievably. This circular time perception reduced existential anxiety about mortality and meaninglessness. Life was a cycle, endlessly returning, and you were part of patterns larger and longer than your individual existence. As darkness deepens, you step outside once more. The moon is rising, nearly full, casting silver light across the village. Moonlight, bright enough to see by but not bright enough to suppress melatonin, created a unique nighttime experience. Ancient peoples were active during full moon nights, using the light for activities that required vision but enjoying the cooler temperature and peaceful atmosphere. This flexibility in activity patterns, adjusting to natural light availability, kept circadian rhythms flexible and healthy. The brain didn't rigidly adhere to the same schedule every night but adapted to natural variations, maintaining resilience in biological timing systems. You notice someone tending to a sick community member, bringing water and speaking soft comfort. Caregiving, witnessing caregiving, and receiving caregiving were constant in ancient village life. The brain's empathy networks, including the anterior insula and anterior cingulate cortex, activated regularly through these experiences. This kept compassion alive and active rather than allowing it to atrophy through disuse. Additionally, knowing that you would be cared for if sick or injured created deep security. The attachment system, formed in infancy, was continuously reinforced throughout life through community care, maintaining secure attachment even in adults. This security buffer protected against anxiety and depression. Preparing for sleep again, you perform your familiar routine, each small task signaling rest to your brain. Tonight, let us observe breathing more closely. As you settle into bed, your breath naturally slows and deepens. Ancient peoples, without knowledge of breath's importance, nonetheless breathed properly through necessity. Without pollution, the air was clean and easily inhaled deeply. Without chronic stress, the diaphragm remained relaxed and mobile. Without sitting all day, the rib cage maintained flexibility. Deep, diaphragmatic breathing activated the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting calm and supporting the transition into sleep. The ancient body breathed as humans evolved to breathe, providing optimal oxygenation and nervous system regulation. As you drift towards sleep, your mind touches briefly on tomorrow. There will be work to do, but you know what it will be. There will be challenges, but nothing outside your capacity. There will be connection, because community is constant. There will be purpose, because every task matters for survival and well-being. This confidence about tomorrow, not certainty about specifics but trust in the general pattern, allowed the brain to release into sleep without anxiety. The prefrontal cortex didn't need to plan and worry, because tomorrow would largely resemble today, and today was manageable and good. Sleep comes, and through the night, let us observe dreams once more. Tonight you dream of the harvest to come, of golden grain and full storage, of community celebration. Your dreams reflect anticipatory positive emotions, imagining good outcomes, rehearsing successful harvests. This cognitive pattern, called prospection or effective forecasting, when focused on realistic positive outcomes, supported motivation and well-being. Ancient peoples could dream of favorable futures that were genuinely likely based on past experience. Modern prospection often involves either unrealistic fantasies or anxiety about unlikely catastrophes, neither of which serves mental health well. Ancient dreams processed real life toward realistic futures, making dreaming more functionally useful. The deep night holds you safely. Your family breathes around you, the village sleeps in darkness, the stars will overhead in their ancient patterns. Everything rests, everything renews, everything prepares for dawn. In this deep darkness, nothing is required of you. No choices, no tasks, no vigilance. Only rest, only restoration, only the deep peace of complete safety. Morning arrives again, and this day brings something special. Today is a craft market day when several villages gather to trade goods and skills. You prepare items you've made, pottery and baskets, to trade for things you need. This economic system, based on direct exchange of handmade goods, created different brain responses than currency-based systems. When trading objects you personally created for objects others created, the exchange felt fair and transparent. You could assess quality directly, negotiate face-to-face, and build relationships with trading partners. The insular cortex, which processes fairness and trust, remained calibrated to realistic assessments. Modern economic complexity, with abstract currency, hidden supply chains, and price manipulations, can create persistent feelings of unfairness and distrust that activate low-level stress. The journey to the market location involves walking several miles with your goods. This long walk, repeated regularly, maintained cardiovascular health while providing time for contemplation and conversation with traveling companions. The bilateral movement of walking activated both brain hemispheres rhythmically, which some researchers believe supports emotional processing and problem solving. Many of history's great thinkers were famous walkers, possibly because the activity supported their cognitive work. Ancient peoples walked constantly, providing continuous bilateral stimulation that may have supported mental health and creativity. Arriving at the market, you encounter people from neighboring villages, familiar from previous gatherings but not part of daily life. This intermediate level of social connection, less intimate than family but more personal than strangers, filled an important social niche. The brain's social networks handle these relationships differently than close kin, practicing flexibility in social engagement. You negotiated, joked, shared news, and parted ways until the next gathering. This created a web of loose ties across the region that provided information flow, genetic diversity through occasional intermarriage, and mutual aid during crises. Modern urban anonymity or suburban isolation often fails to provide this middle layer of social connection, potentially leaving social needs partially unmet. At the market, you watch skilled demonstrations. A flint knapper shows how to create sharp tools from stone, each precise strike revealing the craftsperson's deep knowledge. Observing skilled work activated the brain's mirror neuron system, which fires both when performing an action and when observing it. This system supported learning through observation, allowing knowledge to transfer across generations without formal instruction. Ancient children watched skilled adults constantly, their mirror neurons encoding techniques and building neural representations of competence. Modern children often lack access to observing skilled handwork, potentially missing this important pathway for developing sense of mastery. The market also brings storytellers and musicians, sharing news and entertainment. One storyteller recounts a journey to distant lands, describing strange animals and different peoples. This narrative broadened the listener's mental maps of the world without requiring personal travel. The hippocampus processed this geographical and cultural information, creating cognitive representations of places never visited. Stories served as humanity's first virtual reality, allowing the brain to experience diverse situations safely. This supported empathy, creativity, and problem-solving by providing mental models of alternative circumstances and solutions. Trading completed and belly full from shared food, you begin the walk home with your new acquisitions. The items you traded for, a bronze knife and woolen cloth, represent hours of someone else's skilled labor. You appreciate their quality because you understand the work involved. This transparency of value, knowing what went into creating something, maintained gratitude and respect for others' contributions. The brain's fairness monitoring systems remained satisfied because exchanges felt balanced and just. Modern consumer culture, where prices seem arbitrary and creation is invisible, can create vague feelings of unfairness or guilt that the brain struggles to process. Returning to the village as evening approaches, you feel the satisfaction of a full day, new connections made, useful items acquired, journey completed safely. This sense of accomplishment came from tangible achievements with visible results. The brain's reward systems responded strongly to completed concrete goals. Modern work often lacks clear endpoints or tangible products, creating a hunger for completion that goes unsatisfied. Ancient peoples experienced numerous small completions daily, each providing mild reward that cumulatively supported motivation and satisfaction. Tonight's evening is quiet, fatigue from the long walk encouraging early rest. As you settle to sleep, your legs pleasantly tired, your mind content with the day's experiences, notice how physical tiredness supports mental peace. The body's fatigue signals the brain that rest is deserved and needed, eliminating guilt or restlessness about sleeping. Ancient people's physical activity levels meant they were genuinely tired by evening, making sleep a welcome relief rather than a challenging transition. The alignment of body and mind, both ready for rest simultaneously, created easy, natural sleep onset. Through the night, your muscles repair themselves, strengthened by the day's exertion. Growth hormone flows during deep sleep, directing resources to tissue building and repair. Ancient peoples who worked physically every day and slept long hours each night gave their bodies optimal conditions for this maintenance. The result was strong, capable bodies that remained functional well into older age. Modern sedentary life followed by inadequate sleep prevents optimal physical maintenance, accelerating age-related decline. Ancient bodies aged more slowly in functional terms because they were used consistently and restored completely. Dawn comes again, and this morning brings awareness of changing seasons. The air carries a different quality, slightly cooler, with the angle of sunlight shifted. These subtle environmental changes registered consciously and unconsciously in the ancient brain. The suprachiasmatic nucleus detected changing day length, preparing the body for seasonal transitions. Ancient peoples attuned to these shifts began preparing for the coming season naturally, their bodies and minds aligned with environmental reality. Modern climate control and artificial light can disrupt this attunement, creating seasonal affective responses because the brain receives conflicting signals about what season it is. Today's work involves harvesting honey from wild beehives. This dangerous but rewarding task requires courage, skill, and cooperation. As you approach the hive with fire smoke to calm the bees, your heart rate increases, adrenaline flows, senses sharpen. This acute stress response, facing a real immediate challenge, was the stress system's intended purpose. The sympathetic nervous system activated fully, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis engaged, and you experienced the euphoria of facing and overcoming genuine danger. Modern stress, chronic and abstract, keeps these systems activated without the resolution and reward of successful challenge completion. Ancient peoples experienced frequent acute stress with clear endings, maintaining a healthy, responsive stress system. Successfully gathering honey, you return with golden combs full of sweet reward. The honey will provide precious sweetness and energy. This rare, valuable food activated the brain's reward centers intensely. The sweetness itself, evolutionarily associated with safe calories, triggered strong dopamine release. But the rarity of such intense sweetness meant that the reward system remained sensitive. Ancient peoples might taste honey a few times per season, making each experience profoundly pleasurable. Modern constant access to sweetness has downregulated dopamine receptors, requiring ever more intense sweetness for the same pleasure, creating a hedonic treadmill that ancient peoples avoided through natural scarcity. The afternoon brings mentoring time. An adolescent is learning from you, watching your work and gradually taking on more complex tasks. This apprenticeship model, universal in ancient cultures, created meaning for both teacher and student. Your brain's teaching networks, largely overlapping with parenting circuits, activated as you explained, demonstrated, and corrected. This engagement supported cognitive health and life purpose. The student's brain learned through observation, imitation, and guided practice, the optimal sequence for skill acquisition. The relationship formed through this extended shared focus created bonds different from but complementary to family ties, enriching both lives. Evening arrives with unexpected news. A runner has come from a neighboring village requesting help with a large construction project. Several strong workers are needed for a few days. You volunteer to go, knowing your village would receive similar help when needed. This reciprocal altruism, Helping others with expectation of future return was foundational to human cooperation. The brain's fairness monitoring systems tracked these exchanges over time, creating either positive feelings of balanced reciprocity or negative feelings of exploitation. In ancient villages where everyone knew everyone and reputation mattered immensely, people maintained fair exchange carefully. This supported trust and cooperation while preventing the resentment that comes from persistent imbalance. As you prepare for tomorrow's journey, gathering tools and provisions, you feel anticipation mixed with slight anxiety. The unknown always carries uncertainty, even when visiting a friendly village. This mild anxiety served protective functions, keeping you alert and careful. But it wasn't overwhelming because the uncertainty was bounded. You knew roughly what to expect, and you were going with companions. Ancient anxiety was appropriate to context, real but manageable, acute but not chronic. This kept the amygdala and stress systems calibrated properly, responsive but not oversensitive. Sleep comes, and tonight let us observe the immune system more closely. During the day, you are exposed to various microbes, some potentially pathogenic. As you sleep, immune cells patrol your body, identifying and destroying threats. The lymphatic system is particularly active during rest, clearing cellular debris and fighting infections. Ancient peoples, living close to soil and animals, had robust, well-trained immune systems. They were exposed to diverse microbes constantly, which trained immune cells to distinguish real threats from harmless substances. Modern hygiene, while preventing acute infections, may leave immune systems undertrained and prone to allergic reactions against benign substances. Ancient immune systems developed through constant appropriate challenge, creating robust health. Deep in the night, you move through dream landscapes. Tonight you dream of the journey ahead, imagining the path, the destination, the work to be done. This mental rehearsal, happening automatically during sleep, prepared neural circuits for the actual experience. The motor cortex and spatial navigation systems activated during dreams, strengthening patterns that would be useful during waking action. Ancient peoples who dreamed about real, upcoming activities benefited from this neural preparation. Modern dreams often involve impossible or irrelevant scenarios that don't provide useful rehearsal, potentially making dream sleep less functionally beneficial. Morning comes with purpose and energy. Today begins the journey to help the neighboring village. You set out with several companions, walking paths worn by countless feet before yours. The journey takes most of the day, following the river valley and climbing over a forested ridge. This long walk through varied terrain engaged the brain's spatial navigation systems fully. The hippocampus created detailed cognitive maps, the entorhinal cortex tracked position and direction, place cells and grid cells fired in intricate patterns encoding location. Ancient peoples maintained rich spatial knowledge of their territory through constant navigation. This supported hippocampal health and may have protected against cognitive decline and aging. Modern GPS navigation and limited territorial range may reduce this natural cognitive exercise. Walking through the forest, you notice medicinal plants and mark their locations mentally for future gathering. This practical botanical knowledge, held in memory without writing, demonstrated the brain's enormous capacity for meaningful information storage. Ancient peoples carried encyclopedic knowledge of plants, animals, terrain, weather, and technique entirely in neural networks. The hippocampus and temporal lobe memory systems evolved to hold vast amounts of practically relevant information. Modern outsourcing of memory to devices may allow these systems to atrophy, potentially reducing cognitive reserve that protects against dementia. Arriving at the destination village, you're greeted warmly. Food and shelter are provided, demonstrating the reciprocal hospitality that made travel possible. Tonight you sleep among friendly strangers, slightly uncomfortable in an unfamiliar place but safe within the social contract of mutual aid. This experience of leaving home but remaining within the human circle of care expanded identity beyond one's immediate village. You were a member of your village, yes, but also a member of the broader human community bound by shared customs and obligations. This layered identity provided both intimate belonging and broader connection, satisfying the brain's needs for both tight-knit attachment and wider affiliation. As sleep comes in this new place, your brain processes the day's journey. The new spatial information, the social exchanges, the physical exertion, all are consolidated during sleep. Memory formation requires sleep for completion, and the ancient practice of sleeping after learning supported robust memory. Modern schedules often interrupt this natural consolidation, forcing the brain to maintain memories without adequate processing time, resulting in weaker encoding and faster forgetting. Ancient peoples learned and then slept, creating strong, stable memories that serve throughout life. Let yourself rest now in this ancient village, not your own but safe within the web of human cooperation that span the ancient world. Feel the safety of reciprocal bonds, the trust that makes community possible, the knowledge that helping creates obligation to help in return. The brain rests easier knowing it exists within a network of mutual care, that isolation is impossible, that belonging is guaranteed through participation in the ancient patterns of give and take that made civilization possible. Sleep deeply now, as your ancestors slept, in strange places made safe by shared humanity, under stars that shine equally on all villages, all peoples, all times. Rest in the knowledge that community extends beyond the familiar, that you belong not just to a place but to a species, united by needs and customs as old as consciousness itself. Let the journey of the day settle into memory. Let the work of tomorrow wait in potential. Let sleep take you fully into deep restoration where the ancient brain remembers its essential nature. You are not alone, you are needed, you are safe. You are home wherever humans gather in mutual care and shared purpose. Rest now, completely and deeply, in the ancient peace that comes from knowing your place in the human circle, from walking the paths your ancestors walked, from living the patterns that shaped human consciousness, from being, simply and fully, what humans evolved to be: social, purposeful, connected, and at rest in the web of life that holds us all. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. Sleep in ancient peace. Let everything rest. Let everything renew. Sleep.